Alright, this is going to be a little bit different kind of video today. At this bike here, it's basically just a kind of an inexpensive, cheap kid's bike. It's a friend of ours, and anyway, looks like we pulled some of the spokes directly out, through the actual holes in the rim there. So we're going to do this. I'm going to do a little repair that is going to be as low tech, and we'll get this bike basically rideable again. This is somewhat of a common issue that I see from time to time, that where spokes get pulled through, and a lot of times these bikes will just get thrown, the whole bike gets thrown away at this point because it's not worth fixing. You take it to a bicycle shop and they'll normally want to sell you a new wheel, which you may be looking at 30-40 bucks, and then the labor on top of that. You can actually probably buy this whole bike for not much more than that. So a lot of people, I work on a lot of bikes at the shop that people are on a very limited budget, maybe their only form of transportation, or things like that. So we're just going to do a quick little tutorial on how to fix something like this on the cheap. So the first step is going to be to remove the front wheel from the forks, and I'm sure everybody's going to have just a cheap adjustable crescent type wrench. Normally we would want to undo the brakes to get the wheel out, but this particular wheel does not have any brakes here on the forks. So yeah, it makes removing them pretty easy. It does have brakes in the rear, but yeah. I just want to let the air out of the wheel and take the tire and tube off. So I have this one spoke here that's pretty kind of got twisted around and mangled up, and normally I would just replace the spoke, and you could do the same. Just measure the length of one of the other spokes, and you should be able to take it to most bike shops and get a correct length spoke. But we're actually just going to work with what we got here. So I'm just going to straighten this one out, and we'll go from here. I took the spoke and just kind of pounded it out straight here on that anvil part of a vise, but any kind of flat surface where you can smack it with a ball peen hammer or whatever. So again, it's typically not how I would ever repair something like this, but I wanted to do it with just showing what could be done with very minimal tools, and basically for free, working with what you have. I've got access to putting a better spoke. I've got a nice truing stand and everything else. So it's I basically wanted to just illustrate to somebody that didn't have the means to repair this maybe in a more proper or better way, that it can be done to keep the bike workable for very minimal tools and cash, basically. So I don't know, hopefully some folks may see this, and rather than just tossing the bike and throwing it away, will attempt to repair it themselves and get the bike back on the road. So basically I put the crescent wrench in the vise to give it a backing there, and I'm just hammering the parts where the spoke nipples pull through the rim there, and hammering it back flat, so it'll basically shrinking the hole size there, so the spoke nipples will have something to grab hold of there too. So anyway, yeah, get these going, put some little washers, and I think that will get it. So I got 3 little washers. They need to be big enough, big enough holes where the spoke nipple just fits through but won't pull through. So we're going to use these as a support for our repaired rim here. Just make sure you get these in the right holes. Alright, so our wheel's just sitting in here, and as you can see, it's definitely got some warpage. Just haven't tensioned up the spoke, so that's going to be pretty typical. You can basically see it's pushed over the most right there, which is right where all of our, basically these group of 3 spokes here are the ones that are loose. So, got our little cheapy spoke wrench here. Alright, so it's not great yet, but we're getting better. And it's really just a matter of working away at it. We'll do put a little tension on here. We can kind of convert our fork into a little semi-truing stand here. So we've got a zip tie here. It's just kind of on there. We can position this in such a way where we can basically see the rim there. You can see it needs to, it's close here, and you can see by the washer that's just the point where the rim needs to be pulled over. So it looks like essentially if we just tighten the 1, 2. Alright, so we worked away at it and basically got the wheel straight and the tire back on. So we got it to a point where it's basically back ready to ride. Should be structurally strong, at least is what it was. It's not the strongest wheel, but anyway, just a cheap repair that you can do with some very basic tools and basic cash. And thanks for watching.